Hey there, everybody. Welcome. We are in the middle of a series called A Man After God's Own Heart, the life of David in the Bible. And we're going to go to Second Samuel chapter number 2 today. We started the transition yesterday. Saul is dead. Jonathan is dead. A couple other of Saul's sons are dead. He's no longer the king of Israel. The first chapter of Second Samuel is David's lament and mourning for the passing of Saul and Jonathan, even mourning the death of the one who was trying to hunt him and kill him. That reveals to us the heart of David. And now, chapter number 2, verse number 1 in Second Samuel, we're going to see the beginning of a power struggle. We'll see that Abner, one of Saul's men, is going to try to put Saul's son Ishbosheth on the throne, and Joab, one of David's men, is going to try to protect David's interests. So, Second Samuel chapter number 1. Second Samuel chapter number 2. And it came to pass after this, after David's mourning and lamenting of Saul, that David inquired of the Lord. And we talked about this already in this study. Always seek God's will and direction before you do anything, saying, Shall I go up into any of the cities of Judah? And the Lord said unto him, Go up. And David said, Whither shall I go up? And he said, Unto Hebron. So the Lord sends David specifically to Hebron in Judah. So David went up thither, and his two wives also, Ahinoam the Jezreelitess, and Abigail, Nabal's wife, the Carmelite. And his men that were with him did David bring up, every man with his household, and they dwelt in the cities of Hebron. So these 600 men that were faithful and loyal to David during his dark days, he's now going to bring with him as he begins to reign from Jerusalem. And the men of Judah came, and there they anointed David king over the house of Judah. And they told David, saying that the men of Jabesh Gilead were they that buried Saul. So the people of Judah received David gladly, and they anoint him to be their king. And David is now the king, as God intended, but only over Judah so far. And then the people tell David, hey, the men of Jabesh Gilead, they're the ones who took care of Saul and his family after they were killed. And David sent messengers unto the men of Jabesh Gilead, and said unto them, Blessed be ye of the Lord, that ye have showed this kindness unto your Lord, even unto Saul, and have buried him. So David's praising them for having done the right thing. And now the Lord show kindness and truth unto you, and I also will requite you this kindness, because ye have done this thing. Therefore now let your hands be strengthened, and be ye valiant. For your master Saul is dead, and also the house of Judah have anointed me king over them. And so David praises again the men of Jabesh Gilead, and says that he'll be there for them and return the favor of their kindness and graciousness to the house of Saul to them. Verse number 8. But Abner, there's always a but in there, isn't there? But Abner, the son of Ner, captain of Saul's host, took Ishbosheth, the son of Saul, and brought him over to Mahanaim, and made him king over Gilead, and over the Asherites, and over Jezreel, and over Ephraim, and over Benjamin, and over all Israel. So Abner, instead of following suit with Judah, he decides, nope, Saul's family's going to keep the throne, and he gets Ishbosheth, and he arranges to have Ishbosheth put on the throne. Verse number 10, Ishbosheth, Saul's son, was 40 years old when he began to reign over Israel, and reigned 2 years. But the house of Judah followed David. So the kingdom is divided here in who they want to be their king. Judah is sticking with David, and the others are going with Ishbosheth. And the time that David was king in Hebron over the house of Judah was 7 years and 6 months. Now, at the end of that period of time, David's actually going to become king over all of Israel and reign from Jerusalem. But in this interim period, there's this power struggle. And Abner, the son of Ner, and the servants of Ishbosheth, the son of Saul, went out from Mahanaim to Gibeon. And Joab, the son of Zeruiah. So keep these guys straight in your head. Abner is with Saul. Joab is with David. And Joab, the son of Zeruiah, and the servants of David went out and met together by the pool of Gibeon. And they sat down, the one on the one side of the pool and the other on the other side of the pool. And Abner said to Joab, "Let the young men now arise and play before us." And Joab said, "Let them arise." And we're about to find that playing is not exactly what word we would use. They're going to fight here. This is not exactly a diplomatic meeting. It's a meeting to see who's got the toughest guys and who's going to win in this struggle for the throne of Israel. Verse 15, then there arose and went over by number 12 of Benjamin, which pertained to Ishbosheth, the son of Saul, and 12 of the servants of David. So 12 on 12. And they caught every one his fellow by the head, and thrust his sword in his fellow's side. So they fell down together. Wherefore that place was called Helkath Hazarim, which is in Gibeon. And there was a very sore battle that day, and Abner was beaten, and the men of Israel, before the servants of David. And there were 3 sons of Zeruiah there, Joab and Abishai and Asahel. And Asahel was as light of foot as a wild one. All right, so let's go back. Verse 17, there was a very sore battle. Abner was beaten, the men of Israel, before the servants of David. So Joab and his men defeat Abner and his men. Now, they're going to separate here. Abner's going to leave. And there were 3 sons of Zeruiah, Joab, Abishai, and Asahel. And Asahel was as light of foot as a wild roe. So Asahel's going to take off. Verse 19. And Asahel pursued after Abner, and in going he turned not to the right hand nor to the left from following Abner. Then Abner looked behind him and said, Art thou Asahel? And he answered, I am. And Abner said to him, Turn thee aside to thy right hand or to thy left, and lay thee hold on one of the young men, and take thee his armor. But Asahel would not turn aside from following him. So Asahel, he has an agenda here, and he's pursuing Abner. And he's angry with Abner, and he won't turn aside. He won't quit following him. And Abner said again to Asahel, Turn thee aside from following me. Wherefore should I smite thee to the ground? Don't make me kill you, is what he's saying here. How then should I hold up my face to Joab thy brother? He says, if I kill you, I'm going to have to face your brother, knowing that I did that. Howbeit, he refused to turn aside. This is Asahel. Wherefore Abner, with the hinder end of the spear, smote him under the 5th rib, that the spear came out behind him, and he fell down there and died in the same place. And it came to pass that as many as came to the place where Asahel fell down and died stood still. And so Abner kills Asahel, Joab's brother, by stabbing him under the 5th rib with the spear. And that 5th rib subject's going to come up again. Verse 24, Joab also and Abishai pursued after Abner. So after Asahel, who's the fastest runner of them, leaves and chases after Abner, now Joab and Abishai go after. And the sun went down when they were come to the hill of Ammah, that lieth before Giah, by the way of the wilderness of Gibeon. And the children of Benjamin gathered themselves together after Abner, and became one troop, and stood on the top of an hill. Then Abner called to Joab and said, Shall the sword devour forever? Knowest thou not that it will be bitterness in the latter end? How long shall it be then, ere thou bid the people return from following their brethren? So Abner says, hey, Joab, there's not going to be any end to this fighting. There's not going to be any stop to the bloodshed. Let's just call it quits right here. Verse 27, And Joab said, As God liveth, unless thou hadst spoken, surely then in the morning the people had gone up, every one from following his brother. So Joab blew a trumpet, and all the people stood still, and pursued after Israel no more. So Joab says, Okay, I'm glad you spoke up. Let's call this a truce for now. Verse 29, And Abner and his men walked all that night through the plain, and passed over Jordan, and went through all Bithron, and they came to Mahanaim. And Joab returned from following Abner, and when he had gathered all the people together, there lacked of David's servants 19 men and Asahel. So 20 of David's men are dead because of the battles that day. One of his men is Asahel, Joab's brother, and Joab doesn't know this yet. But the servants of David had smitten of Benjamin and of Abner's men, so that 360 men died. 360 of Abner's guys are dead. Only 20 of Joab's are dead. And they took up Asahel and buried him in the sepulchre of his father, which was in Bethlehem. And Joab and his men went all night, and they came to Hebron at the break of day. And so there it is. And we're leaving it off here at the end of this chapter, right in the middle of this struggle for power. And the story is going to continue here as we go on the next couple of chapters. And we'll see that in time, David does take over the entire throne of Israel, and he's made the king of the entire nation. But it's all a process here. The only place David is really mentioned is at the beginning when he is brought to Hebron. He inquires of the Lord, always seek God, his will, his direction, and his guidance. Then he obeys God's direction and guidance. Then he honors those who honored his predecessor. It's the Bible says to be good to the friends of your father and make friends with the friends of your father. And so father there could be used a little bit generously, a little liberally, to understand that anyone who's on the same side as your people, make good friends with them and do right by them. All right, that's it. That's the chapter. We will be back tomorrow and continue this saga and see where it goes. Thanks so much for watching. God bless you.